Jackrabbit McCabe and the Electric Telegraph by Lucy Margaret Rozier and Leo Espinosa. This here's the story of Jackrabbit McCabe, who was born to run. At birth, his legs were so long they looped like a pretzel, and his father had to add an extra axle to the baby carriage. When he was a 3-year-old, his mama dressed him in long pants every morning. But by noon, his sock tops showed, and by 5 o'clock, he was wearing shorts. Little Jack chased whatever would run, hogs, dogs, even his own shadow. As he got older, he raced trains flying past his house in Windy Flats. For years, the engineers cheered him on. By the time he turned 18, he'd beat every stagecoach, antelope, and locomotive in the territory. Perched on the edge of the Great Plains, the town of Windy Flats always counted on Jackrabbit's speed when a message had to get out fast, like to fetch old Doc Dobbins to patch up some ninny from the Double Daria Club who fell while climbing up St. Bertha's Church steeple. Whenever the sky turned green and twisters bore down, Jackrabbit rounded up every wandering chick and child and plunked them safe back home. On Sunday afternoons, he ran in horse races out at the county fairgrounds. Folks who knew Jackrabbit always bet on him to place first. Since he earned a piece of the pot, he made good money. Then one day, something new came to Windy Flats, the electric telegraph. Out east, telegraph wires already crisscrossed the landscape, carrying messages quicker than the mail by using electricity. Each city and town connected by the wires had a telegraph and an operator who sent and received messages in Morse code, an alphabet of dots and dashes. The first week the telegraph company showed up in Windy Flats, there was plenty of talk. "I don't believe any newfangled contraption can carry a message faster than Jackrabbit," said Mayor Babble. "Nor do I," said Judge Festoon. The telegraph man overheard their boast and said, "How about a race between your fella and this here electric telegraph? Sandy Bluff just got themselves an operator. That's pert near 25 miles as the crow flies." Of course, the mayor had no trouble convincing Jackrabbit to race. "Why, yes, sir," Jackrabbit said. "I can outrun anything." On the day of the big showdown, folks came from miles around. Windy Flats felt as festive as a flag-waving jubilee. A brass band played, and Mayor Babble spoke. Then the mayor carefully wrote down the same message on 2 slips of paper. He handed one to the telegraph man and the other to Jackrabbit. To start the race, Judge Festoon hollered so everyone could hear. "On your marks, get set." A finger hovered just above the telegraph key. Jackrabbit leaned way over with one foot already in the air. Go! Down went that telegraph key. Off shot Jackrabbit McCabe. Jackrabbit pumped his legs, kicking up storm clouds of dust. On the flat roof of the mercantile, children whooped and hollered as they watched him roar like a tornado down the road and out of sight. The crowd held its breath. In a few moments, a reply came clattering back as that telegraph key jumped and smacked all on its own. The telegraph man quickly read the code and shouted, "Message received. Stop. Sandy Bluff operator." The crowd let its breath go in one great sigh. "Ah, shucks! Where's Jackrabbit McCabe?" they asked each other. Well, sir, Jackrabbit ran in record time, 9.5 minutes to Sandy Bluff, but there was no brass band to welcome him, only a telegram tacked up on the door of the depot. It read, "As that fine statesman and inventor Benjamin Franklin once said, energy and persistence conquers all things. Stop. Mayor Babel of Windy Flats." Jackrabbit pulled the mayor's message out of his pocket and read it with the Sandy Bluff telegraph operator. "Yup, they're the same. I guess I got beat." Jackrabbit felt lower than a snake's navel. He took a slow stagecoach ride home. Meanwhile, Mayor Babel paced and thought. He was barely listening to the telegraph man's talk till he heard, "Say, who's going to be your telegraph operator?" Suddenly, the mayor perked up. "What about Jackrabbit McCabe?" he said. "If his fingers are half as speedy as his long legs, we're in business." And so, when Jackrabbit finally arrived back in Windy Flats, Mayor Babel was there to greet him. "Good news, my friend! How would you like to become the first telegraph operator of our fair city?" Jackrabbit's sly grin quickly grew into a face-splitting smile. He jumped up with a big "Wahoo!" and ran 6 times around the town. So Jackrabbit sent away for a Morse code book, and when it came, he practiced every minute. Before long, his fingers flew like a banjo player's, strumming that telegraph key. Day in and day out, he sent and received messages and, of course, hand-delivered telegrams in a flash. He even teamed up with the local typesetter who printed out the news that came over that wire, linking Windy Flats to the whole entire country. And who do you think delivered the newspaper every evening? That's right, Jackrabbit, who could run through every speck of town as fast as a squirrel hightails it up a tree, and what's more, land a paper at every door. Now I ask you, was there ever any fellow so all-fired expeditious as Jackrabbit McCabe? The end.